Respected Dean and dear fellows, Assalamu alaikum. I am Varda Shabir Abbasi from 5th semester Electrical Engineering Department. I am associated with Cisco Academy for last 1.5 years, and during this time I have done a lot of work on myself, my personality and my skill development. During this time I have done two courses. One is ITN and second one is switching, routing and wireless essentials. So Cisco Academy is a great learning platform for your skill development and your personality enhancement.
एंटॉस का ये कहाँ पड़ा ये अगली स्लाइड में नजर आएगी ये बराबर
Today the topic of my presentation is how to write an effective research proposal. For this, I have taken help of three research papers. The one in the basic research paper that I have read for this presentation is the basic elements of research proposal at tertiary education level. The second one is how to write an abstract, and third one is problem statement development. So here we are doing a research regarding internet traffic and analysis, and we have created a group under the supervision of Sir Ehsan. And the mentor of this group is Professor Muhammad Yahya Khan. He was a professor at UT Peshawar, and recently he is retired from Al Qura University, Saudi Arabia. And the supervisors of the group include Sir Ehsan Haq, Dr. Noor Badshah, Dr. Ghulam Bashir Hassan, and Dr. Mariam Nishad. Sir Ehsanul Haq is here recently teaching at DCSC UET Peshawar, and he is the he is the supervisor of this group, and he helped us during our research projects. Dr. Noor Badshah is here teaching us at UT Peshawar, and he helped us with any analytical problem that we come across. Then Dr. Ghulam Bashir Hassan recently joined us, and he also helped us during our research work. And the fourth one is Dr. Mariam Mishal. She's from Seacoast University, Peshawar, and she also helped us during our research work. And there are various members in this group from various departments and various semesters. And if you people are willing to join us, you can come to Cisco Academy, and Sir Ehsan will be happy to help you. So the agenda of today's presentation is what is research proposal, how do we write an effective research proposal, and what is the purpose of writing a research proposal. I am sure that you people know about the research proposal and how do we write the research proposal. Can anyone tell me what is research proposal? Anyone? So basically, the research proposal is the,
4 point.
and in this, at the end of this presentation, we will assign you a task regarding what we have studied in this presentation or what we have done in this research. So the basic thing is, what is the research proposal? So research proposal is the highly structured document that describes your plan, that how you will investigate the research problem. So it acts as a blueprint and it organizes your thoughts, like how you will be conducting your research, what will be the steps and methods that will be included while finding the solution to a specific research problem, and it introduces the readers to the research topic, and it discusses the primary objective of our research, like what we are doing in our research. Then second thing is the purpose of the research proposal. Like why are we doing our research? So there can be various purposes of the research depending upon the circumstances. Like if you are writing a research proposal and you present it in an organization, then you will be doing it to attain a position at a research institute. If not, then you will be doing so to ask for the funding for your project. And if you are doing it at the tertiary education level, like in universities or colleges, then you will be doing it to attain the attention of the supervisor and to tell him that your research is worth it and they should guide you during your research. And the third and the main basic purpose of the research proposal is, it tells us what you want to find out in your research, and it makes easy for others to understand that what is your main focus of study. Second is, how do we write a research proposal? So there are two components that should be kept in mind while we are writing a research proposal. Each one is discussed in details. First one is title, second one is abstract, third is introduction, fourth is problem statement, literature review, and the last one is references. So the first one is title. The title should be clear, precise, and it should include all the key points of your research. And already a presentation or the seminar has been conducted, like how do you write a research proposal by Sabine Zulfikar in the previous presentation. And if you have any queries, you can ask her. She will be happy to help you. Second thing is abstract. So abstract is the crisp and short, powerful, and self-contained summary of the research manuscript. Like it is the first thing that the reader encounters. It should be precise and it should not exceed like 150 to 200 words. And there are four components of the abstract. First one is aim, second one is method, hypothesis, and the projected results. In the aims of the abstract, you will have to mention, like you have done the literature review before writing the research proposal. So you, in the aims, you will have to discuss that research gap or any controversies that you are working on. Second thing is the method, like what methods you will be following in order to get the specific answer to your research problem. Third one is the hypothesis, like what are the expected results of your research. There are two things in it, like if you have already done your research, then definitely you will be having the answers of your problem. You will have to mention them very precisely in the quantitative way, like how much, like 25% or 30%, like how effective it is than the prior research. But if you haven't done your research yet, but you are writing the research proposal, then you will have to mention that how better it is from the prior research. And the fourth one is the projected effects. Like when you have done your research, what will be the effects of your research on the certain group of people or on the industries or on the environment. You will have to mention them in these four components of the abstract. Then it provides the quick overview of the entire research proposal. Like you are doing the research, abstract is written at the top of the research proposal, but it should be written after you have done all your research. You should organize all your key points of the research, and then you should have to mention them in your abstract. It is very important because it makes the reader to decide whether he will read your whole research paper or just throw it in the dustbin. So it is up to you that whether you want it to be read by the people or just kept it at a side. So introduction is the first encounter of the reader to your research proposal. So it is an opportunity for you to hook the readers in. So there are four components that should be included in the introduction of the research proposal. One is that you should have to identify the problem or issue that you are discussing in your research problem. The second one is that you have to discuss about the research gaps or any controversies that your research is discussing that haven't been discussed in the prior research. And the third one is that when you have selected a question regarding a research, then you will have to present the hypothesis or the expected answers and how this information is better than the pure information that you have read from the literature review. All of this should be mentioned in the introduction of the research proposal or research paper. Then comes the problem statement. So in the problem statement, you identify the main problem on which you are working on. So in the problem statement, there are basically two things like what and how. What are you doing and how you will be doing it? What is your problem and what are the steps that you will be following to find the answer of that specific question? So it is the identification of what would be studied or identification of key components and terms. You should identify the key components and terms in the definitional format. Besides this, you will also have to include the background information like the researches that have recently been conducted and you have studied them and how those researches are linked with your work. You will have to mention them in the problem statement and you will have to remove the use of unnecessary Jordans like the specific terms that are related to the research work. You will have you don't mention them in the problem statement. Literature review. Then comes the literature review. Literature review is the most important part of the research paper or the research proposal while you are working on it. So it is the primary or secondary source of your source, act as a primary and secondary source for your research proposal. So when you are doing the research, you will have to go through the work of different researchers and you will come to know the key findings and theories from the previous studies. So you will identify the research gaps, like what are the things that haven't been covered in the previous researches and you are working on it. But and you can also find the controversies or you can uh, uh, you can identify the gaps or unresolved issues in the current body of the knowledge. And then once you have done your literature review, you come to know that you have gained enough information to write a literature review. Then you have two ways to do the literature review. One is you arrange the data in chronological format or in the thematical format. So in the chronological format, you arrange all the theories or the work that you have studied in the on the basis of their time lapse, like when were those researches published, and once you have done that, then you will do them in thematical format, like what were the themes of those researches, and in this way your research paper or research proposal seems more organized and it highlights the controversies, like you have read the work of prior researchers and you find the results do not match your work, then you can directly uh, uh, add to the controversies and debate in the literature. Then comes the research methodology. This includes the steps that you will be following in order to solve a specific problem regarding a research problem. So for the research methodology, first thing that you need is the data, like how you will be collecting the data by conducting the interviews or by surveys, or how you will collect the samples and from where did you collected the samples, whether by locally or by whether you have imported them from somewhere. Once you have the data, you will have to do the analysis of the data. And how did you do the analysis? Like whether you have used some software or you have used some tools, like you have done them on doing the MATLAB or by Python. Once you have discussed the data analysis, then you will have to tell that your work is reliable and you will have to authenticate the validity of your findings. So it is included in the research methodology. And once you have done this, you will have to represent our timeline for what you have done in your whole research. So in the timeline, you will have to tell that which component had taken how much time. In this way, you will be able to, it will be helpful for you to manage your time in a more accurate way. Then comes the references. In the references, you have, as you have done the literature, you review and you have read the work of previous researchers. Then you will have to do the reference. For this, you will have to cite the work of the researchers like you have already done in your research. Like if you have done your research and you have included the concept of the prior researchers, then you will have to mention those in the references. It gives the credit to the source and prevent the plagiarism. And there are two things in the research papers and research proposals. One is references and second one is bibliography. So what is the main difference between the references and the bibliography? In the references, we only mention those references whose reference we have mentioned in our research work or we have cited them in research. But in the bibliography, we include all those references from which we have taken help, whether we have mentioned them or not in our research. So this is the main difference between references and bibliography. Then there are some tips for writing the research proposal. So make sure that your vocabulary is robust and you will have to proofread your document before presenting it to the committee and acknowledge the authors of the reference publications in the reference section and create a clear title. Ensure that your statement is concise and brief. And if you have any questions, you can ask. रेफरेंसेस में ऐसे होता है ना कि जैसे आपने लिटरेचर रिव्यू किया है और आपने किसी रिसर्च प्रपोजल से कोई कॉन्सेप्ट उठाया है और उस कॉन्सेप्ट को आपने डायरेक्टली अपनी रिसर्च में मेंशन किया है, तो वो आप रिसर्च में जो है उसको कोट करोगे। और अगर बिब्लियोग्राफी में ऐसे होता है कि आपने रिसर्च की है, मतलब फुल आपने सारी लिटरेचर रिव्यू किया है, तो आप हर एक कंपोनेंट को जो है हर मतलब जो जो आपने रिसर्च पेपर पढ़े उसको आप जो है बिब्लियोग्राफी में प्रेजेंट करोगे वेदर और नॉट कि आपने उसमें से कुछ पार्ट अपनी प्रेजेंटेशन या प्रपोजल में प्रेजेंट किया या नहीं। तो ये मेन डिफरेंस साइट करना जरूरी है। ये इसीलिए तो किया जाता है ताकि आपके वर्क को प्लेजरिज्म में न डाला जाए। To give the credit to the other researchers is the main purpose of doing the reference.
The references can list and bibliography references और papers listed हर एक आपकी डॉक्यूमेंट साइट के हाँ लिटरेचर रिव्यू या किसी बिब्लियोग्राफी में अगर मेंशन दो तो उसको साइट करना यानी आपके लिस्ट में चीज है और इधर साइटेड।
Any questions on this side? So in the next week, we will be conducting a seminar regarding latex. So make sure that you people bring your laptops with you. और लास्ट में एक एक्टिविटी है जिसपे जो है हमने इंट्रोडक्शन उठाया एक रिसर्च पेपर से। आपको इस इंट्रोडक्शन को पढ़ना है और सबसे पहले जो है इसमें जो इंट्रोडक्शन में मैं की कंपोनेंट्स बताए थे वो आपको आइडेंटिफाई करने के वो क्या क्या थे। लाइक सबसे पहले प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट थी, हमें प्रॉब्लम आइडेंटिफाई करना है और उसके बाद जो है तो कर लेती हूँ आपको।
Next week laptops ले आए last time session में क्या ले लीजिए उस प्रेजेंट laptops के next सांस ले लीजिए next Friday पहले से ensure इसको ले सकते हैं और यहाँ पे कैलकुलेटर में क्या होता है
ये इंट्रोडक्शन के कंपोनेंट्स और इसकी ड्यूरेशन में ये मैंने आपको एक्सप्लेन किए। आपको अब मैं जो ये पेपर दे रही हूँ इसमें एक रिसर्च पेपर का इंट्रोडक्शन है। आपने एक पेज लेना है और उस पे जो है इन सारे इंट्रोडक्शन में जो पॉइंट्स यहाँ पर एक्सप्लेन है वो मेंशन करने हैं। तो ये आप
पेज के ऊपर इंट्रोडक्शन वर्जन इंट्रोडक्शन से में क्या मेन पॉइंट्स निकालने
ये जो मेन पॉइंट्स इधर मेंशन है आपको इंट्रोडक्शन पढ़ना है और उसके बाद वो मेन पॉइंट्स इस रिसर्च पेपर में आइडेंटिफाई करने हैं और पेपर के ऊपर अपना नाम और रजिस्ट्रेशन नंबर और डिपार्टमेंट लिखने हैं। नहीं दूसरे प्लस पेज पे हर एक को एक एक ना देना मतलब एक ही लाइन में एक दें और फिर ताकि इक्वली जी राइट में मेंशन है पॉइंट आपने इन पॉइंट के इनको पढ़ना है और जो अपनी आपको भी इधर दिया गया पेज पे इंट्रोडक्शन लिखा गया है रिसर्च पेपर का आपको ये वाले पॉइंट्स अपने रिसर्च पेपर में आइडेंटिफाई करने और पेज पे लिखने हैं।